What the fuck? One Piece chapter 909. Okay. Let's back up for a second. We gotta talk about this ending scene. Zoro with the Seppuku, however you say it, the knife that they do for samurai rituals where they commit suicide. Zoro looks at it and says, hey, there's no handle on this thing. How are you supposed to swing it? They say, hey, don't worry about that. You're gonna kill yourself. Don't even worry about it. Just go ahead, drive the knife through your heart, and then I'll chop your head off, and we're gonna make sure that you don't suffer. Zoro looks around, and my man says, not only do I smell the bitch in you, but I smell the blood. I smell the blood of a killer. And the smell of your blood says that you're the killer. And Zoro, using the knife, let me repeat this. Just using the knife, Zoro is able to split the whole damn building in half. What the fuck kind of training did this dude do with Mihawk? Jesus, with the knife. Yo, and you know why that's so damn hot right there? Because when Zoro fought against Mihawk the first time, Mihawk only had a knife when he fought against Zoro. Oh, yo, that is a nice callback right there, man. Like, I was reading this chapter, I was like, oh, okay, this is moving a little slow, but okay, I'm getting into it. I'm getting a little bit of love for Whitebeard. You know, my man basically got Marco out here trying to protect his memory because Whitebeard got, you know, popped off by Blackbeard in the Marineford War. Marco kind of pulling like a Kikyo from Inuyasha, going around and healing people and kind of doing this do penance and everything. And you get this moment where Marco's like, yeah, you know, it's okay though. You know, this land is a land that, you know, Pops Whitebeard really cared for. And, you know, when he was drinking at the bar, he didn't pay his tab all the way, but we didn't mind it. We understood. He was sending all of his money here to this land to make sure it's okay. And I'm like, damn, they added some layers to Whitebeard, man. Like, I fucked with Whitebeard before this, but I really fuck with him now, because, like, that says a lot, man. Like, you know, I'm gonna sound like a bit of a hypocrite, because I have an entire side of my family that I don't fuck with, but at the same time, I'm also somebody that I value family, at least until family cuts me. And what I like about this right here is that, you know, Whitebeard, he had every reason not to return back to this land. Like, you know, you find out that, you know, in lands like these where they can't really necessarily join in with the world government because they're too poor, they end up producing a whole new generation of orphans. And once you escape poverty like that, you know, you never really want to go back to it. You know, like, this is something that, you know, if you talk to somebody that's been homeless or has been on the verge of being homeless, one thing they tell you is they never forget that feeling. You know, to get personal for a second, like, I know for me, you know, I know what it's like when a few years ago, I couldn't lay down and go to sleep because I was $180,000 in debt between all the various bills that I had. And, you know, I'm still in debt now, but at the same time, it's nowhere near as big as what it was. And the reason why I still remember that is, you know, feelings like that helplessness, that drowning feeling, it never really goes away. And so for a guy like Whitebeard, he's leaving poverty, he's making his own way. There's no reason for him to go back. You know, there's no reason to go back. And what I like on that end is that he never forgot where he came from. In the same way that if you talk to a homeless person or somebody that used to be homeless and now they're, you know, been fortunate enough to get out of that situation and they've been able to turn their life around, you're in a situation where you never want to go back to that feeling of not knowing where you're going to rest your head at night. And so I thought that was interesting. I thought that was very interesting because you see a different layer to the character of Whitebeard. That was good. That was very good character development. This is one of those things that I gotta admit, like, when Oda decides to develop these characters, it's something that it resonates on a different level because it's the subtle things he does like this that speaks so many volumes about the characters right there. I thought that was good. I also thought, again, you know, Marco kind of healing people and Marco healing the animals. Again, it's small things like that to where you look at the character just a little bit different, because for me, you know, my memory of Marco was from the Marineford War. So, you know, that was a nice little addition right there. You know, it kind of makes you look at, you know, how Ace was in that crew, and now you're kind of looking at Ace's time in the crew a little bit differently, because you are in a situation where even though Ace was the Pirate King's son, even though he was Gold D. Roger's son, Whitebeard still took him in and still raised him like he was his own son. So, you know, it's stuff like that to where, like, you start putting the pieces together and you really start appreciating these characters a whole hell of a lot more. And the other thing I thought was good is, again, like the moment where he says that, you know, Pops was kind of a cheapskate. He always wanted to drink other people's drinks. He never paid the whole tab at a restaurant, but we were okay with it because we knew he was putting his entire share of the treasure into this place. And just the way that Marco's drawn, kind of shaking, and he's rubbing his eyes, trying not to cry, little small subtle things like that. Like, these are some of my favorite panels by Eiichiro Oda, man. These are some of my favorite panels right here, to see little small moments like that. So that was good, but we got to talk about, hands down, the most beautiful panel, I guess page spread of this entire chapter. So this whole time you're like, we gotta get to Wano. Like, when I was doing the reviews on Kryptonian Saiyan way back when that was the original YouTube channel I had, some of you guys just kept telling me, like, hey man, you know, when you get caught up, you might be getting caught up when we get to the start of Wano. We're really close to Wano, and we know what happened. YouTube deleted that channel, and I kind of had to start all the way over. But for me, this was a brilliant moment right here. So, you know, for me to see this giant double page spread where you see Wano taking up a huge chunk of the double page spread, you know, for me, it's like, damn, we're finally here. You know, this was a long time coming, man, but we are finally here. It's sinking in. Like, I'm not gonna say my One Piece journey is about to end, but the journey to get caught up chapter by chapter is hitting me now that, like, yo, we in the end game now. Like, we legitimately are in the end game. I am so fucking excited for this, man. But that spread of Wano, like, it's just so brilliant. It's so brilliant. You see the houses, you see the flower petals, you see the cherry. I think that's a cherry blossom tree. That is just brilliant art. That's just brilliant art right there, man. Like, this was hands down one of my favorite panels that we got in this chapter. And my second one, again, I like how Oda kind of plays around with it a little bit. You know, those you guys who have migrated over from the Naruto Explained channel, you guys know, like, I criticize the artwork so much in the Boruto manga. And what I like here with One Piece, like, you see how Oda just plays around with how he layers his panels and everything, and you see how Frankie is breaking through on 3 separate panels, and it's just adding to that larger than life feel that you get for Frankie. And it's the same thing with Usopp, where Usopp only has 2 panels on his page where he's breaking through, and yet he's just drawn in such a dynamic way. It's the same thing where, you know, Usopp, like, he's just telling his tall tales all over again, but he's like, Usopp is in the perfect profession, because my man's telling all these tall tales like, I got a sword, and see, just touching the blade cuts directly through your skin, but hey, if you rub this toad oil on it, if you rub it on there, hey man, you're gonna get healed. Like, my man's probably been selling all types of shit, because people that are bullshitters like Usopp, they make the best salesmen. And so I like that element right there. And I was like, well, damn, why are they going by different names? Why are they kind of assimilating into Wano like this? What the fuck is going on? That's kind of how I looked at it. And then, you know, you see Nico Robin, which, yo, shouts out to Nico Robin, because, like, again, I'm not the biggest Nico Robin fan. I am. I just do it for the trolling, because I know it gets on some of you guys' nerves. But, like, Nico Robin looked like a fucking snack in this one, man. Like, you know, let me put some respect on Nico Robin's name, right? Nico Robin looking like a full-on appetizer. She ain't a whole meal. That's Nami. But, like, Nico Robin looking like a whole ass appetizer, man. Like, I like the way she was drawn in this one. You know, you see her where she's trying to be a geisha, and, you know, you just see Nico Robin, she's flustered. That's such a beautiful panel where you see, like, the rosiness on her cheeks, and you see the hair up, and you see how she's sweating. Like, that was beautiful, man. That was so fucking beautiful right there. And the thing that I like the most about this is, like, you see how Kinemon is like, hey man, like this is the plan that we got here. You know, you guys are gonna assimilate. We can't really make any waves because if we make any waves, hands down, it's gonna reach Kaido's ears, and we can't afford to get on Kaido's bad side until all of our allies are able to assemble here. And like what you end up getting is like Zoro's the first one who breaks. Unless this is revealed to be some grand scheme, Zoro's the first one who makes waves. And it's almost like, and again, I might be wrong, this might be too much of my Naruto background, like how Kishimoto would develop Naruto and Sasuke on a similar path. I've already seen Luffy try to mix it up with one of the four emperors. Are we gonna see a situation where Zoro tries to get at Kaido? Is that something that Oda's setting up here? That's gonna be interesting to see if that's one way that he's going here. But like, what I like here is that, you know, they say like, hey, you stole the blade, you know, a few years ago, Ryumen, I'm butchering the name, but it's the dude from Thriller Bark who Zoro ended up getting the sword from. Like, I like how they tied all that shit back in there. They tied all that back in, man. So, you know, overall, this was a good chapter. So, in order to properly kick off Wano, what better way, and this is my chapter question, what better way to kick off the Wano greatness than to have Zoro pull some shit like this where my man just using a knife with this brilliant page spread. Just using the knife, my man splits the whole fucking building in half. What the actual fuck, dude? How do you top something like that for the ending of a brand new arc as far as chapters? So my second question to you guys is, out of all the One Piece arcs that we've had, what chapter or what ending scene of a chapter is what you consider to be the official kickoff of that arc? I know that's a bit tough. But I want to know from you guys how you guys feel about that. But, so always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.